Hello and welcome to CloudFolks HUB. My name is Bhavesh Adara. This video is a part 2 of REST API versus HTTP API. In the part 1, we already discussed about authentication and authorization, security and traffic control. In this particular part, we are going to talk about all these features. So let's start. Request and response transformation. This is actually main feature of REST API. This is actual decision maker. Okay. Now let's understand this so you will get better understanding about why I am talking about this particular feature. Request and response transformation. Introduction. Modify the request or response before sending to backend. Convert the format like XML to JSON or add remove field. Example, frontend send name and phone. Backend expect name only, API gateway modifies it. You know that there is a frontend who is actually sending requests. Then there is a backend which is actually accepting the request and then it is going to respond. Now, in between them, we have API gateway. If you have REST API, it can modify this request. So, this is actually decision maker. Let me tell you, HTTP API is not going to modify any request or response. Whatever it is coming from the requester, it is going to forward it to the backend. So, in any case, HTTP API cannot modify your request. Okay, so keep this in mind. Now, supported by REST API, yes. HTTP API, no. It is actually not going to modify it. Means it is a faster. So HTTP API is faster. Why? Because HTTP API's responsibility is whatever it is getting from the requester, it is going to forward it to the backend without any kind of intervention, right? Okay. Now, input validation. Introduction. Check request before sending to backend. If user send wrong data, API gateway reject the request. Example, email is missing, API gateway block the request. Supported by REST API, yes. HTTP API, no. All the three features are actually supported by only REST API. And that's why I'm telling you, it's a decision maker. Introduction, mapping template. Used to format the data using velocity template language. Customize input-output format using template. Example, convert request body to a different structure. Supported by REST API, yes. HTTP API, no. Right? So you have to remember all these 3 points because you may get questions related to this. Now, let's talk about performance and cost. First, caching feature. Store responses to increase the speed and reduce backend load. If many users request the same data, API gateway returns cache response instead of calling backend. So whatever the response your API gateway is actually receiving from the backend, it is going to store this into the cache memory. So if for subsequent request, it is going to send a reply directly from the cache. Yes, and it is actually refreshing the cache as well. For example, product list refresh every 5 minutes. Supported by REST API, yes. HTTP API, no. HTTP API is not supporting caching, but HTTP API is already faster. It is not going to interact with your response. So it is actually faster, right? So caching is not required by HTTP API. Now, cost. Introduction, how much it costs to run. HTTP API is much cheaper than the REST API. HTTP API costs 70% less than the REST API. REST API expensive, HTTP API very cheap. Now, let's talk about monitoring and logging. Monitoring and logging is supported by both. So, no need to worry about this. CloudWatch logs. Introduction, track request, error, latencies. API gateway send logs to the CloudWatch log. Example, check why request is failing. Troubleshoot purpose, supported by both. Access logs. Store logs of who access your API, track caller IP, time, method, status code. Example, generate audit log for the security team, supported by both. Now, integration types.
Sorry to interrupt you. I know you guys are enjoying our video a lot because our final ultimate goal is Solution Architect Certification exam. To reach the destination, we required full videos. Path number 1, our 6-in-1 program. Our 6-in-1 program include all prerequisite skills which is needed as a cloud engineer. It include 24/7 support, lifetime update, section-wise practice test, full course practice test with tips and tricks by Bhavesh Atara, how to do exam preparation course, weekly lifetime live session with Bhavesh Atara, and 6 AWS project with documents. Path number 2, you can enroll by paying 499 and get Hindi and English, both the languages, videos of AWS. The choice is yours how to create your success story by choosing best one. Best of luck. Thank you.